This Sur Ron is without a doubt the hottest e-bike on the market right now. I got mine about a year and a half ago and I have been absolutely loving it. As a result, putting on close to 4,000 miles and around $8,000 in mods. The potential of these bikes is absolutely insane. Not only with the places that you can get away with riding it because it's electric, but also with the variety of mods that can be done and with both the off-road and street riding capabilities that it offers. And naturally, because of this, there are a lot of different niches and different types of Sur Ron riders that exist within the Sur Ron community. In this video, I'll be covering the 10 types of Sur Ron riders that you'll either meet yourself or find when scrolling through social media. So without taking up any more time, let's just get right into the video. Up first is the Stunt Rider. These are the Sur Ron riders that spend more time on one wheel than both, jumping around mid-wheelie, switching up positions faster than a porn star. Boomers hate them, anyone under 30 loves them, and everybody in the middle wishes that they could ride like them. They are without a doubt some of the most skilled riders out there today. Wheelies and stunt riding has been a big part of the Sur Ron community ever since one YouTuber by the name of Sur Ron started uploading videos. Sure, there might have been others before him, but nobody was uploading videos like he was back in the day. I first discovered his videos back in late 2019. I'm talking back in the days when he was still riding on knobbies. And he was the main reason that I and many others bought a Sur Ron in the first place. Back then, he was easily considered the best Sur Ron rider on YouTube, but today the Sur Ron community has grown so much, not just in numbers, but also in skill cap. You've literally got 16-year-olds doing hand drags like it's nothing. And I've got to give a shout out to Carson Kennedy. This kid is absolutely cracked, and he is easily one of my favorite Sur Ron riders to watch. Sticking to the streets can also give you some of the worst decision making when it comes to individual safety. Trust me, I know from my own personal experiences. But I'm not here to give you a safety lecture, just stay safe out there guys, and remember to watch out for blind corners, cars, and don't ride above your skill level to show off to some cute girl in the car next to you. It's not worth it, trust me. The off-road rider. This is the biggest majority of Sur Ron riders. After all, it is marketed as a dirt bike-ish e-bike, and these riders, myself included, love exploring in places that they probably shouldn't be. And thanks to not having the good old brap brap sound, it's very easy to get away with. It doesn't matter where it is or what it's intended for, if they see a visible trail, it's fair game. With their biggest natural enemy being mountain bikers, who absolutely hate when they see a Sur Ron sharing a trail with them.
Have fun getting your bikes crashed when the Rangers catch you. They gotta catch us first, fella.
And you know, I can understand their argument. If someone's ripping uphill digging trenches with a 72 volt setup, yeah, that will ruin trails very quickly. But for a stock Sur Ron, it has a difficult time breaking traction over 5 miles per hour. And when going downhill, you don't do any more damage than a fat guy on a regular mountain bike. But whatever, I'm not here to talk about the ethics of riding on mountain bike trails, so let's just get on to the next rider, which is a very fun one to watch, and that is the Sender. These are the guys that forget that they're riding a 110-pound bike with mountain bike suspension and just hug jumps that should be reserved for full-size dirt bikes. If anything, these are the people that prove how capable the Sur Ron really is at taking abuse. And of course, they're also the first ones to find out what the limits actually are. We all thank you for your service of discovering what the weakest links on the Sur Ron are, and then still proceeding to break them after they've been upgraded. Just like I did after casing a step up on my local dirt bike track.
Man. That's not good.
Seriously though, you've got to hand it to these guys for having the balls to do what they do. Most, if not all of them, have been riding dirt bikes for years, so obviously the skills translate to the Sur Ron, but it's just inspiring to watch somebody do something that you would think is impossible on a Sur Ron. And remember, if it looks big on camera, it's gotta be at least twice as big in real life. The Crasher. The Sender is oftentimes also the Crasher. The saying goes something like, if you aren't crashing, you aren't riding hard enough. And that is certainly true, but there are two different categories of Sur Ron crashers. The ones that are really good riders and crash because they're pushing themselves to the limit, or the guys that are just overconfident and don't actually know what they're doing. I find that about 50% of people that you let ride your Sur Ron will crash it within the first 30 seconds. And of those 50%, another 25 will pick it back up and do it again as if they haven't learned anything from it the first time. I've got a buddy who is 3 for 3 on Sur Ron test rides to crashes. Needless to say, after 3 broken fenders, I have learned my lesson to never let anybody that is overconfident ride my bike. But sometimes those are the same guys that decide to get a Sur Ron themselves, and you would think that they are hammered with the way they whiskey throttle it. Like, dude, just let go of the throttle, don't death clip your handlebars, and cover the rear brake with a finger for God's sake. You could say all of that and they will still find a way to crash into the nearest obstacle available. The Petal Assist Guy. These are typically people in their mid-30s to 40s who are trying to be a model citizen by riding a pedal assisted e-bike, even though they know that the Sur Ron is way over the legal kilowatt limit for pretty much every area that has e-bike regulations. But in my opinion, all they're accomplishing is having awkward foot placement that is only contributing to a higher chance of a foot strike, while at the same time having the pedals be completely useless over 10 miles per hour. On top of that, most of them wear bicycle helmets to top off the look, which is better than nothing, but I would definitely not want to crash in my Sur Ron without having my full face on. And sure, a few cops might overlook it, but chances are if they wanted to stop you, going 30 miles per hour in a bike lane will catch your attention even more than just riding it normally. The truth is that most cops won't bother you as long as you're not riding like a dick on the streets. And as for off-road, you definitely won't be fooling any mountain bikers either. If you happen to live in an area with cops that are hostile to Sur Rons, you're better off just firing up GTA 5 and getting in some practice with 1 star. It's basically the same thing, just in real life. The Overkill Power Mod Guy. This is a dude that's running a KO motor combo or a BAC 8000 with a massive battery sticking out above their handlebars, pushing 24 kilowatts for no other reason than because they can. I personally don't get the hype when I don't even ride at full power with my BAC 4000. With such a short wheelbase, it's a challenge to keep the front wheel down with 13 kilowatts, so I can't even begin to imagine how they can keep it under control without a huge power curve. At which point, you really gotta ask yourself about diminishing power returns, and when will you even use that power anyway? But I'm not one to judge what people do on their bikes. I'm sure it is pretty fun to have that much power, even though I would never find use in it myself. So you guys do you. The Enduro Bro. Because the Sur Ron is electric and doesn't have a clutch, it makes a very good and easy enduro bike. It naturally has a lot of torque down low, and even more so if you upgrade the sprocket and power system. And with it being lightweight and small, it makes it a great bike for getting through technical terrain that most regular dirt bike riders would have a lot of difficulty with. The stock Sur Ron with a sprocket upgrade can practically climb any hill you want to, with the only limiting factor being usually traction. So it is really no surprise that many people, including myself, love taking this thing on challenges off the trails. The Track Racer. There are 2 different categories of track racers in the Sur Ron community. Just like in the dirt bike community, you have the supermoto bros at one end and the motocross guys on the other. With the supermoto racers, you already know they have the small 14-inch wheels with slicks and of course wearing full leathers. Because of the speed, they're mostly limited to going on go-kart tracks, and although it does seem fun, I've personally never tried it simply because I haven't found a track that will let me ride there. Then you have the motocross track racers. Now I can't speak for all tracks, but on the one that I was riding, despite having upgraded wheels to 18 and 21 and fully upgraded suspension, I was having a very hard time with the arm pump that I was getting. And even at full power at 13 kilowatts, I was having trouble getting the speed to confidently clear most of the jumps, and I would just have to pin it and hope for the best. So for all those Sur Ron track racers out there, I have massive respect for you because it's a lot harder than it seems, especially if you have other full-sized bikes riding with you at the same time. But with that said, the Sur Ron is totally able to handle it as long as you don't case your jumps too hard. The Speed Demon. All these guys care about is speed. You will see them exclusively wearing the most aerodynamic helmet they can find with a belt drive kit to ensure the most efficiency and the lowest gear ratio possible. The fastest that anybody has gone in the Sur Ron is about 90 miles per hour, at which point they decided to let off because it was getting too sketchy. Which I agree. With such a small wheelbase, I don't feel a need to go over 60 miles per hour on my own setup. If I was to go any faster, I would fear having the speed wobble to death. The Sur Ron is an awesome wheelie bike and it's an even better off-road bike, but it's definitely not meant to be a fast bike. If you're trying to go fast on 2 wheels, just go get a Hayabusa. It will cost you close to the same after all the mods that you have to do to the Sur Ron to make it not even fast enough to hit 100 miles per hour. The stock bike is perfect guy. It's no doubt that the Sur Ron modding community is massive, and modding my Sur Ron is one of my favorite parts of owning it. But some people just refuse to ever upgrade their Sur Ron. It can be for a variety of reasons, but mostly I think it's because the stock bike is just pretty good the way it is. But then again, some people take it a little bit too far. They could be at 2,000 miles and still ride on the stock tires. This is also probably due to them not riding that hard or ultimately just not crashing or dropping the bike. And usually when something breaks, you might as well upgrade it. But if you never break anything in the first place, I can see why you don't feel a need to upgrade anything. After all, the stock Sur Ron is incredibly reliable and practically requires no maintenance, aside from a chain lube every now and then. Don't get me wrong, I love my Sur Ron the way that it is now with all the upgrades, but when you've changed everything except for the frame and the motor, you run a higher chance of having something break. Even more so when you start pushing more power. The most common thing that I've broken on my 72-volt setup is my belts and even my chains after I upgraded the chain drive, which can definitely get annoying. So I do understand where the guy with no mods is coming from, although I do think that there are a few mods that everybody should do because the improvement to the bike is worth more than the cost of the upgrade itself. Anyway, if you have watched this far in the video, drop a like because you probably liked it at least a little bit, and let me know if you think I missed anybody that should have been on the list. As for now, that's all I have. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.